Hey, it's Jack Maxwell. Welcome to our Sunday virtual happy hour cocktail thingy, Jack's Place. We really have to get a name for this show, but more importantly, is you and our drinking together. That's all I care about is hanging out with you on a Sunday night for an hour. What am I drinking? This is you would normally call it tequila and ginger, right? However, it's an American spirit agave, so they can't call it tequila. I guess they get a little itchy down there if you steal their name, if it's not from tequila or one of the five regions, not only tequila, but then they license it out, I think, to four other regions that can call it tequila, as long as it's 100% blue agave. So this is an American agave by Three Wells right here in southern Arizona, and that's what I'm drinking. And just because he's so fun, I'm going to bring my producer in, Ken, because he's been drinking since for the last 3 hours. What do you got? You drinking that?
Mezcal. I got Mezcal Mules.
That's your favorite mezcal, isn't it, Ken?
Yes, it is. It was actually just voted the best in the United States, even though it's from Oaxaca, but they just won best mezcal. So
and
my buddy's over there to make it.
But you liked it before it was cool to like it, before it won any awards, right?
Yes. Look at this hat. I mean, come on.
That's if you're gonna wear a hat like that, you better know your stuff. How did you find out about it? I love a mezcal.
So I was actually at a charity event where they had just wine and beer, and this gentleman walked by that had a little blazer on that said Carreño Mezcal, and I'm like, man, too bad there's not any mezcal here. And he goes, he just pulled it out of his pocket and said, like this? Needless to say, we became fast friends.
Oh, yeah. That's a good way to become friends with somebody over a drink, right?
Yes, sir.
I know the opening of a TV show used to say something like that. I forget which one it is.
Yeah, some guy.
I don't know what it was exactly. But the spirit, so to speak, lives on. And how many are you up to now? 2 or 3, you say? You started at...
No, this is just my second. I'm pacing myself.
All right. I said 2 or 3. You said, nah, it's my second. All right. I have 50-50. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you how many I had. All right. Very good. Thank you. We got a lot to talk about because it's been a busy week since I saw you last Sunday night right here. What are you drinking tonight? Ken wants to know. I want to know. Chime in. Let me know. And thank you for joining me. By the way, what a week it's been, huh? We're going to start doing things that whatever we think of, because this is our time. So you could talk about anything is what I'm saying. I saw a quote. I was reminded of a quote that I like this guy. I've liked him for a long time. I really admire his writing skills, the fact that he was a flawed human being and let the world know it. But what a wonderful writer and poet. His name is Charles Bukowski. You might have heard of him. And I saw this quote online, which, again, I've seen many times over the years, but it really hit me this week. It said that the problem with the world is that the intelligent people are full of doubts, and the dummies are sure of themselves or full of confidence. I'll get it exactly here. I don't want to misquote Mr. Bukowski. The problem with the world is that the intelligent people are full of doubts, while the stupid ones are full of confidence. There you go. Have you had any experiences like that this week? I certainly have. Hello from your favorite North Carolina fan. Oh, thank you, Phyllis. Carrie Ann. Hi there, Jack. Thank you. Do I have favorites? Oh, I can't play favorites. I suppose I can. Yeah. For real. Agave tastes like peanut butter to me. I think I'm maybe the only one. Ray Jones. Wow. Peanut butter. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get any Peter Pan or Jif in that one. Although cilantro to me tastes like soap. I'm one of those people. I remember the first time I had it, I said, this is disgusting. It's horrible. Who likes this? I thought someone was playing a joke on me. Then I found out, I guess, a certain amount of people think it tastes like soap. So welcome to the club if you're one of those. I'm drinking a key lime frozen margarita, homemade. Oh, that's the only way to do it. Absolutely. Cheers from Seattle, says Yvonne. Cheers, Seattle. How's things up there? Drinking some brown sugar bourbon on ice. Cilantro. Erin with the red hair. You look Irish. Cilantro to you too. Drinking Kool-Aid. Literally Kool-Aid, says Penny. Why are you watching my show? Why are you inhaling Kool-Aid? Come on, Kool-Aid and what else? Not that there's anything wrong with that. You don't have to drink. Sunday Fun Day with Jack, says Lisa Stevens. Hi, Lisa, fellow Arizonan. Oh, she's here now anyway. Knob Creek Rye Old Fashioned up in here, says Michael. All right, good stuff, Michael. Aloha, Jack. Just having a rum and Coke, Amy Tarango. That's okay. Anything you want. Yes, cilantro tastes like soap to me too. Thank you. I'm glad I'm not alone. Back to the Kool-Aid. You know, that has taken on a whole new meaning since Jonestown, right? In Guyana, James Jones had everybody, Jim Jones, I guess, is what they called him. I remember I was just a kid, really. I was very young. And I know a congressional delegation flew down from California, headed up by Congressman Leo Ryan, to check it out because his constituents were complaining. There was this place down there, and drinking Tito's and a little red wine, says David. And so they went down there to check it out because people, they say, were being mistreated and they're being kept. It was a cult and everything else. Joyce says a Manhattan on the rocks. Thank you, Joyce. And so they go down there and they talk to this guy and they talk to people and they leave with some of the people who want to leave, or so they thought they were leaving. And then at the airport, they just gunned them down. And Leo Ryan was murdered. And I forget what year that was. Anybody want to refresh my memory? And of course, the jig was up at that point. Big Marble Ginger Beer, said Richard Betsy. I love Big Marble. We're going to talk about supporting local companies in a little while. Anyway, so all these people were slaughtered. Congresswoman Jackie Spear, I think, is that her? Spear from California. She was shot. She was an intern or an assistant, and she's still around now, but she lived through that experience. Anyway, so Jim Jones made everybody drink the Kool-Aid, or his assistants did, and he shot himself in the head. I don't know the exact story, but he was this very charismatic David Koresh-like, and of course he was before David Koresh-like person who got people to follow him. And everybody died, and they drank this grape Kool-Aid. And they say technically it wasn't really Kool-Aid. I'm sure the company that makes Kool-Aid had something to do with that fiasco. Anyway, drinking the Kool-Aid means something else. So I haven't seen Kool-Aid in years. I haven't had it in years. I refuse to drink the Kool-Aid, both literally and figuratively, I suppose. So whoever you were drinking Kool-Aid, good for you. I didn't even know it was still around. Penny says, I'm watching because I'm a fan. Oh, that's her, Black Cherry Kool-Aid. May move on to Long Island iced tea. No peer pressure. Thank you for watching. I'm just teasing you because very few people would drink Kool-Aid and then just tell me they're drinking Kool-Aid. But good for you. Kylie Wiley, Chardonnay and a vodka soda, not double fisting. My husband and I in Seattle. Okay, cool. Hello from over at Big Marble. This is Beto Brown. Who's that? I love Big Marble. Let's talk about supporting local businesses. So I love this resident. Jack, tell Richard Dwayne said hello. Oh, all right. Hello there, sir. So I love this restaurant in Arizona. I love a lot of them, but there's this one that means a lot to me. Breadfruit and Rum Bar. And it reminds me so much of the places I love around the world, mostly the Caribbean and all these rums and from Jamaica and the food. The chef, Danielle Leone, is wonderful. And the owner became a friend through Ken, the producer you just met. And they're just wonderful. But of course, the virus has changed a lot of economic situations all around. And as you might have heard, Arizona is a hotspot. Thank you for all those who made that possible, he said, with sarcasm dripping down his aloha from Honolulu, says Kevrod. Anyway, so the restaurant's not open right now. And they pivoted, as we say, over to Big Marble. They make this wonderful ginger beer. It's fair trade. It's organic. It's really wonderful. BigMarble.com. I don't mind throwing a shout out to my friends. Give them a little pub, a little press. Good stuff. But I want you to do the same thing. Do you have a local place wherever you are that you love to support? Not the big, the mom and pop shops. We want to help, especially at a time like this. So use the hashtag. Use the @ symbol. Let us know who you support. And we'll get a little press for these local places around the country that could really use it. Who are you supporting locally? That's what we're asking. Let us know. So what you're drinking? Is there a quote that sums up your week? Who you like locally? Anything else you want to talk about that's on your mind? But I promised you something, didn't I? We had a contest. This is week 3, by the way. Thank you all for playing and submitting your videos. We said, how would you like to take a virtual road trip? And yeah, so a lot of you did. And you sent in your videos. And they were great. So hard to choose. That's why we let you pick the winner. And the first week, because it was the first week, we put 2 people on. And, well, after that, there was a winner, last week. We had a guy wanted to go back to Hobbiton, New Zealand, where we shot an episode of Booze Traveler. The first one was Puerto Rico and Cologne, Germany. And now this week, we have 2 winners. Amy Tarango, I support Maui Brewing Company. So do I. I love that place. Here's to Maui Garrett. Look him up. He's good stuff. Tony's Jackal in Solana Beach. Did I say it, Shannon Engel? Maxon's Grill in Schenectady, New York, says Joyce Easton. Wonderful. Keep coming with those. We love supporting locals. And we love Maui Brewing as well. Just to be in Maui. Anyway, so tonight we have 2 for you, is what I'm saying. 2 places. And here's what we're going to do. They couldn't be more different. That's why I thought of this. After they come on and make their cases and take us to these 2 wonderful but different places, you're going to vote. You're going to say where you would go if you could choose one of them. Cozumel or Gdańsk? Ken just gave it away. There you go. So Poland and Mexico. We're going to go right now to the very first place. The first winner was Diane Witkowski. Did I say that right?
You sure did.
And her husband, Russ?
Ross.
Sorry, Ross is right there with the Polska shirt. Good stuff. Sorry, Ross.
Oh, yeah.
I saw that on social media. And Diane, you created such a wonderful grassroots base of support for what it is for your Gdańsk trip. What did you do to bribe your friends, and how did you get them involved? And here's a picture of Gdańsk now.
It is. It's beautiful. In fact, that picture we used for our Christmas card. We always take our Santa hats along, and we stood on that bridge with that as our background, and that was our Christmas card for 2019. But Gdańsk was, all of Poland was beautiful, but we really love Gdańsk, and the reason we picked Gdańsk to take you to, Jack, was because it is a harbor town, and you're from one of the best harbor towns in the U.S.
I like the way you say that too.
Right. So that was our reason to narrowing it down, and we picked Gdańsk. But there's a great bar in Gdańsk called Flisak 76. And they all of their cocktails are theme based, and the cocktails that they're serving now are actually themed from they are getting their inspiration from the Academy of Fine Art, which is located very close to the bar. And this is the drink that I think we need to try, Jack. It's called Colorless. It's a mixture of Polish vodka, aloe vera, Kira water, and lime. And then the 3 little colored pots there are actually edible pigments. The yellow is a lemon zest, the red is raspberry, and the blue is a celery. So you can drink your potion clear, colorless, or you can add color to it depending on what flavor. And they put a little paintbrush in the jar, so then you can just kind of stir your concoction around. And if you have any of the edible pigment left over, they let you paint on the artist palette, so you can kind of doodle.
That's wonderful. What an experience. I'll choose the middle one because I like to paint the town red.
There you go. That would be the raspberry. But like I said, all of their cocktails are inspired now by the Academy of Fine Art. They actually have a drink where they serve it in a Campbell's soup can. It's called the Andy Warhol. They have a Barcel Pixel drink called the Picasso, and then they have an amaretto drink called Mother Nature's Still Life. But it's just a neat place because they take such time and effort in creating these really unique concoctions. And I know you've you've made a lot of drinks in your days, and you've drunk a lot of drinks in your days.
I've
So,
had more than I've made. Let's put it that way. Uh, without falling into the trap of stereotype, am I to guess from your last name that you are indeed Polish?
Yes,
Okay,
98%.
98%. I did the
with Goski, right?
yes. It's
How do you
actually
say it?
Witkowski is the
Witkowski. Cześć, jak się masz?
Gachimash.
Dobrze, która godzina?
You're going a little bit too much. I just know the curse words.
I didn't curse.
No, but I do.
Yeah, his grandmother taught him the curse words.
Ah, all right. So, Kiara, I absolutely love this, and she has a little paint palette. I think that's great. You know, for me, one of my favorite places, and we won't get off of Gdańsk, but just for a second, is Momix in Athens, because it's a complete experience, molecular mixology, but just the way they do it. It's not a show so much as it is an expression of love. And that's what it sounds like there. What's it called? Fleesack 76?
Lisac 76. Yes.
And what does that stand for?
Boy, I do not know. Maybe it's just something that they created. I don't know. I don't know.
You picked Gdańsk because, Ross, you've been to this place before many times?
Well, last year we actually did a tour of Poland. We started in Krakow, we went to Zakopane, up through Wrocław, and into Torun, where my family's from, into Gdańsk, and then back down into Warsaw. So we pretty much saw the whole country, and Gdańsk was definitely one of our favorites.
Poland itself, I'll tell you, it's probably the most underrated European country there is.
I'm shaking my head because sadly I've never been. Of all the places,
I know, and that's
I've never been to Poland. We almost went there. Had we done another season or two, I know we would have covered it on Booze Traveler. And I love what you just said about a place being underrated, a little best kept secret, a little hidden gem, however you want to say it, because I believe that about several places now, because who knew? Like Croatia. Oh, one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. I think the Czech Republic, Prague itself, Budapest, all of these places where you just didn't know enough about them, or most people that I spoke to had no idea. And when we go there and it's just this big, open, wonderful, beautiful world of exploration and beauty and drinks and culture and people. I just love finding these little places. So what I'm saying is, you're going to make me go to Poland, Diane.
We would love to. I'll tell you the other thing too that was for us was very special with Gdańsk is Lech Walesa. That's where his whole solidarity movement started.
Yeah,
And
he did.
Visited the monument there. But
here he is, a union guy, shipbuilder, I believe. And he just started a motion, started a movement rather. And this guy just changes not only the country for the moment, but for all time. And if I'm not wrong, he also was he not president of Poland?
He's still in politics there.
Yeah, he's still in politics. We actually saw his house. He lives in a very modest home, and the people just love him. I mean, they just absolutely love him and feel that he did so much to promote the country. But
solidarity, right?
Yes. But the people, the food, they, even though they're part of the European Union, they have their own money. It's called zloty. So the other other reason I think we need to go there, Jack, it's 4-to-1 to the dollar. So I mean, we can get 4 or something. So we can get 4 drinks for what it would cost us for one here. So that in itself should be a saleable thing.
When do we leave?
Love Polish cooking. You have to love cabbage because there's a lot of cabbage.
Yeah,
a lot of. That's okay. I'm Irish, so I've had my share of cabbage. I'm Irish and Sicilian, so no problem. You made a wonderful case for Gdańsk and Fleesack 76 and the colorless or whatever else we want, of course.
Yes.
So all of those wonderful drinks you named, the Picasso and Amaretto drink and everything. So I would say that you've probably opened up a lot of eyes changed hearts and minds about not only Poland but Gdansk. Because even when you hear about Poland, you don't hear much about Gdansk necessarily. When it comes to tourism, anyway, everybody likes to go to Warsaw. Or, there's so many other places that I've heard. Gdansk is probably underrated. Let me ask you one more question, Diane and Ross, if you're still around. Where are you right now?
Backyard.
Where? What city?
Cannon, Pennsylvania.
Where?
Duncannon, Pennsylvania.
Okay, yes.
The town's claim to fame is it's one of two towns where the Appalachian Trail actually goes through the main street of town.
It's a small town.
It's a really, really small town. But like I said, that's its claim to fame. And you were saying too, if I can just say this about supporting locals, if you ever get this way, we have a great brewery that just started in Duncannon. It's called Lindgren Craft Brewery. And I'm sure the owner, Mike Lindgren, would be more than happy to give you a personal tour of his operations.
Oh, I'd love to come see and support. And thank you for your submission. It was a great video. Obviously, you and the other one we're going to introduce tonight were the two winners. So that's fantastic. And there is a rumor floating around that at the end of all this, when things clear up, I just might take a trip to one of these places from these videos. And maybe one of those people can come with me, or the couple, or whoever. I don't know. We're trying to work out some things. No promises, but you certainly put it on the map. Not that Gdansk needed to be, but I love to see your passion for it. And you, Ross, being from there, I love to see that you're so proud of where you come from.
I am.
And it's so beautiful. I mean, it's right on the Baltic Sea too. I mean, it's just, you stand on the piers going out, and the sea is right there, and the salt air, and drink in your hand. And,
they have Belvedere vodka too. They have like 6 different kinds over there. You can only get 2 here.
Yeah. So there's lots of things lots of booze doors we could open for you over there, Jack.
Guaranteed.
I love it. You open the booze door, I'll walk right through it. Well, cheers to you both. Thank you for that. And we'll figure out if Gdansk wins or Cozumel, because we have another winner. Here we are. I gotta say, Chris and Amy, your video was so creative.
Oh.
I think for that alone, a lot of people voted for. You could have said the moon.
Well,
See the tranquility from the moon, you could have said, and you would have got a lot of votes. How did you come up with such a creative video?
It was a lot of fun. We were inspired by the whole thing, getting to know your show, and started watching all these other people. And I said to Amy, I'm like, everyone's just recording these things from their own phone or their own laptop. Wouldn't it be cool if we tried to take people there a little bit by using some technology that, like we filmed that thing in front of a green screen, had the whole thing set up in the backyard. It would have been ridiculous if somebody was filming us over the wall or something.
The making of. That was, I can't tell you how much I truly appreciate the effort you put into that. I mean, this is just a little thing I do on Sundays, a little virtual cocktail hour for people who want to come in and have a drink and maybe get things off their chest or say hello. And then my wonderful producer and friend Ken came up with this particular idea. He has all the good ideas. And so we started doing this, and we've gotten a lot of videos, which I'm very grateful for. But you just put so much into it. I'm really impressed. Thank you.
Yeah, Amy had the fun idea to do the little cards and stuff and kind of help with the creative aspects of it. But I mean, overall, we were really inspired by the fact that, through the pain of this COVID thing, the cool thing about it is that it has, I think, kind of inspired people to get in touch with each other, share their fun experiences, and this kind of thing just resonated really well with us because we fell in love with Cozumel back in 1999. We got scuba certified, and
look at that photo, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
Coming up from behind the cloud.
from San Miguel, which is the main town there on Cozumel. And yeah, you're not supposed to take your mask off, but so Amy, you want to tell them that story?
Oh, yeah. So I used to work for a principal whose husband was a National Geographic photographer and said, hey, if you're going to learn how to dive, go to Cozumel. So we went to Cozumel, learned how to dive, and then fell in love with the island. And it's the people, it's the food, obviously the drinks, but there's nothing like it in the world. And so when we saw this contest come up, like, oh, this is perfect. Maybe it's our chance to go back to Cozumel with you even. That would be great if we could do it for reals. But we just figured we'd spend some time making a video, had some fun doing it, and hopefully win.
Yeah,
Let
and
me
I think
ask you a question, Amy, if
Yeah.
I may.
Yes.
When people make statements that I know means so much to them, statements of passion and certainty, like you just said, there's no place like it in the world. I love that you love it that much. Why is it so special? What would cause you to say there's no place like it in the world?
Oh, gosh, I've got a list. So I'll start with, that's where we learned how to scuba dive. And if you've, I don't know if you're certified, Jack, but if you are, it's the most.
I'm certified, but it's not scuba.
Yeah, that's us too. But that's where we learned how to dive. And then it's that actually the picture right there
That's
is
coconuts.
coconuts. That was one of the first bars that we went to with Roberta. I think she took us there, right?
Yeah, our good friend Roberta Swiertnia, she owns Roberta's Scuba Shack on
There she is,
Cozumel.
right
That's her. Yeah, and so this woman has
Wait a
been.
minute. Hold on. Hold that photo up for a second. Hold on. Can I interrupt you, Ross? What's going on with the fingers? First of all, Amy is holding down her ring finger and Roberta is holding down her index finger. How come they don't match and what do they mean?
Oh, well,
She got it wrong, but
yeah.
it's the Sun Devils, Arizona State University. Sun Devils.
She was trying to do the fear the fork?
Yeah.
She was doing the OK symbol. Oh, Roberta.
So that's why we need to go back and help her. But so she took us to these bars, and what we discovered was it wasn't about fancy. It wasn't about,
Far from it.
yeah, it's all about just getting in touch with the ocean and relaxing. And if you're going to be on a vacation, be on vacation. This is another really fun spot. I think it has a different name though, doesn't it?
Well, they call it the Welcome to Miami, but it's known by many different things, the Liquor Box, because it's open 25 hours a day. So figure that one out. But all three of the bars that we talked about, Coco's, Welcome to Miami, and then the other one, which is Bob Marley's Freedom Bar,
right there.
Freedom in Paradise. For me personally, Jack, the reason why I love Cozumel is less about fancy or nice necessarily, but it's a wonderful, down-to-earth place filled with awesome, really cool people. And every time we've been down there, we've had so much fun. And I don't think a lot of people know where Cozumel is. It's technically part of Mexico, but it's in Quintana Roo, which is off the coast of Cancun. And it's in the middle of the Caribbean Ocean. It is the most amazing place that I think you can get to within 3 hours of Phoenix that has probably the top 4, top 5 diving in the world. In fact, Jacques Cousteau, the famous scuba diver, and he basically put Cozumel on the map back in the 70s because once they discovered it, they kept going back there. But I mean, me personally, the reason why we love going down there is because it's one of those places with white sandy beaches and the water is so blue.
So nice.
You can just really, truly disconnect and relax. And frankly, something else nice about it for me, because I'm in information technology business, is being able to disconnect completely from civilization and just totally get off the grid.
It's great you said information technology. We all just call it IT. And sometimes we forget what it is we're talking about. So that's wonderful. Kiara says the world is so beautiful and so are the cultures and its people. Oh, that's so great. So I have to ask you, because for me, I mean, you're pulling the strings of my heart here. I've always loved the Caribbean, so much so that I wanted to say it right. Is it Caribbean or Caribbean? And the times I've been down there, it's pretty unanimous. It's Caribbean from the local Caribs, the indigenous people, not Carib. So whatever you want to call it, it's just a beautiful, gorgeous, peaceful place. I love walking with no shoes, especially through soft white sand into warm water that's crystal blue with a cocktail in my hand and the warm sun on my face. To me, that's paradise.
Oh,
yeah, it really is.
Totally agree.
And it's also super accessible, which we love. Like I said, it's just a quick flight over the pond, and everybody down there is so awesome. Our buddy Roberta, who owns that dive shop down there, she's run that place for like 30 years. And they've been really devastated by COVID-19 and the complete cutoff of tourism. And we kind of thought we could kill two birds with one stone on this whole thing and maybe win the contest, but at the same time help our friend out, because she's an amazing woman who lives in a very machismo world and runs literally two of the best operations on that island in a dive operation. And then she also owns the village Tanka, which is like a resort with, I think, 9 or 10 casitas. And, you know, the other thing, quite frankly, you know, being a Marine, I'm a bit of a cheapskate sometimes. So we like
being a Marine.
Yeah, we like going down there. We like going down there because you can get a full vacation for 7 or 10 days, including diving every day and eating like kings and queens and drinking to your heart's content and spend a couple $1,000s. I mean, it's really an awesome place.
You're making me want to go. I've been down to Quintana Roo, but never right there. And why are you holding a guitar?
Well, it's an ukulele.
I'm sorry, ukulele.
And Amy has a didgeridoo. Do we have like 60 seconds? We could play you a little song.
Not only can you, I insist you do now. You can't have a guitar. Like Chekhov said, if there's a gun in the scene, it better go off by the second act. You have a ukulele and a didgeridoo from Australia. Yes?
These are two instruments that go together like peas and carrots. Just give us a moment and we'll convince you. Now, I do have to say, I just wrote this like literally lying in bed taking a nap before we got over to do the video because we
hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Hold on. I have so many questions. First of all, you just wrote a song right now. You're in IT, but you're also a songwriter with a very odd instrument, ukulele. Very few people play that, and a didgeridoo, which is even more so. And you're saying they go together like peas and carrots, which blows my mind. And I didn't know you were going to play a song, but now I insist. I can't wait. I feel like I have to give you some kind of introduction. So here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome to the stage Chris and Amy Macbeth, who will be playing a song that Chris just wrote, something from the heart, I'm sure, and inspired by perhaps their love of Cozumel. Here they are, ladies and gentlemen, the artist pair of instruments you'll ever see, Chris and Amy. Here we go.
That is the best introduction that we've ever had. Now, I must preface this by saying we have not sung this yet. I finished it literally 20 seconds before we got on with our sound check. So.
Well, and I don't actually play the didgeridoo.
Well, you're going to give it your best shot.
All
right, here we go.
Here we go.
This is our friend Jack Maxwell, a blues traveler who's super swell. We're going to meet in paradise, a place that's fun and really nice. An island best have never seen, so beautiful and evergreen. So when this COVID thing is past and we can travel far and fast, meet us at our favorite place, share some drinks with face to face. Cozumel is where it's at. We can't wait until we're back to share a drink and stories too. Make new friends and dive into Cozumel has water blue. Jack, we can't wait to see you in Cozumel. Wait, do the ditch.
Bravo! Bravo! Although I didn't hear the didgeridoo, but that's okay.
Stand up and aim the thing right into the microphone. There you go. Here, hold on. You're about to hear the didge. All right, here we go. Nice.
It was tough.
All right, so admittedly, we're kind of pandering.
That was wonderful.
But I have to say this. Having met Diane and Ross in the pregame show. Nice.
In the green room, yeah?
Yeah, they're really cool people. And I hate the fact that we have to compete against each other. So I'm hoping maybe, just maybe, if this show thing works out, we can go to Poland with them and you, and then they can come with us to Cozumel. And if
Yeah.
now here's the good thing, Jack. Remember, Cozumel's cheap, so the budget's not going to be a problem.
I heard you get money. Yeah.
Diane Hernandez says, Amy and Chris, you guys are. Hey, by the way, it's not a competition. It's a friendly.
It's a fun competition.
Absolutely.
No one is really gonna lose. Both have already won because you got to express yourself about two places that you love so much. So in my book, you're winners already.
Agree.
I just thought it would be a fun thing because you both.
The other one.
Okay.
Amy's got another deep ready.
Well, by the way, if you want to send in your videos, like Diane and Ross and Amy and Chris did right here, southiejackaz@gmail.com. Like the videos they did, just tell us where you want to go with me to have a drink, why you want to, and maybe you'll end up on one of these episodes here of what are we calling it? Jack's Place, virtual cocktail hour, Sunday happy hour. I don't know what it's called, but it's fun. I don't really even care about the name because we're having a good time. We're having a cocktail. So send your videos right there. And now here it is. It's like The Voice or American Idol or America's Got. Now the voting begins. Based on what you saw, folks, based on how they said what they said and your natural inclination, where you'd want to go anyway, is the vote to Cozumel or Gdańsk, Mexico or Poland specifically. You both made a great case. If I was a judge, see, thankfully they're the jury, but if I was the judge, I wouldn't know what to say, because Poland to me is exciting because I've never been. And I've been to Mexico, although never to Cozumel. However, I just said that I love sand and beaches and cocktails, and my buddy Pablo would love to go down a place like that. His handle is Looking for Beach. He loves that kind of thing. And when we were filming Booze Travel, he came down to Belize, and we went to this little key, and it was just a great time. So, and his family's from Mexico, but Poland is so exotic because first of all, it's a place I've never been to, but the exotic part is, Eastern Europe and all of that stuff, but there's so many wonderful things there, and it's just so not known enough. I mean, Mexico is right down here, as you say, and Poland holds so much. So, all right, let's open the voting. Here we go, Ken, just spit them out, and we'll see who picks what. And we'll talk to you at the end of the show, guys. Can you stick around in the green room?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Fantastic. All right, here we go. And by the way, how was your week? Because I know I started this show due to the virus. Normally I'd be out, hopefully filming something, maybe doing some kind of work along these lines, but I'm inside, right? It's the lockdown for most of us. And I know that is being altered here and there, and some places are opening, some are not. I live in Arizona. Yes, it's been on the news. Big time, spiking, through the roof. You can choose your own reason why, but people aren't being careful enough. The states that are opening too soon, the places that are opening too soon are becoming hotspots, and we don't want that. This is not a political statement. We just want everybody to be safe. How is wearing a mask a political statement? I don't get it. If they're saying that's what we should do to keep safe, at least consider it, right? Because nobody wants to get anyone else sick. And that's why you wear a mask, for other people, not for yourself. Let's look at the votes. Nathaniel Lawrence, Cozumel. I'd love to go to a karaoke bar with them. All right. And I also saw one for Gdańsk, says Linda. All right. And Chris and Amy they were nice. They say, nice job, Diana and Ross. Poland, says Matthew Jason. Paula Gary, woohoo, I get a mention. That's my buddy Pablo. I can't believe he's watching. Thanks, buddy. Lynn Zepp says Poland. All right, what now? Beach, says Paula Gary. By the way, I've known him forever. Probably 40 years, I would say, more than that. And he's a colonel right here in Arizona. So thank you for your service, my friend. Mexico says Pablo. That's his nickname. Hugo Schultz says Gdansk. I love it. We're getting votes on both sides. Denise Seaman, Gdansk. Linda again says Gdansk. You can only vote once. Shannon, Gdansk. Polaska says Meredith Canning. Matthew Bowley says Poland. What? Really? See, I figured Mexico might win this only because it's more of a vacation, in a sense, a relaxing vacation than Mitch says Mexico with a similar last name. Jacqueline Jackson says Cozumel. All right. Well, you keep voting. Myra Alejandra says Cozumel. All right. So you keep voting and we'll talk about whatever. But I'm getting getting low on my drink. That's no good. So we're talking about locals and how we love to support local businesses now and always, but especially now. So I'm drinking an agave cocktail, and it's basically what tequila would be. You just can't call it that. Made right here in Arizona, where I am right now, just south of Tucson, and it's from Three Wells. Good stuff. But I'd also like to shout out to BigMarble.com. Makes the best ginger beer I've ever had. And for those who like to make mules, like my producer Kent, who's on his second, or because we can't see him, maybe his third. I don't know. Who knows with him? He loves his cocktails. So anyway, I'm sure Anita is watching him and Dee Dee watching him closely because he has to run the show after all. If you see all kind of crazy lights and things going by and emojis that don't make sense and the silly filters on my face, he's probably half in the bag. Kev Rod, I support the Mackay Bar, formerly the Mai Tai Bar in Honolulu. Oh, yeah. Good stuff. I love a nice Mai Tai. I'm not local to the place, but friends of mine, says Holly Jordan, own and run the Lonesome Valley Brewing and Restaurant. Or just Lonesome Valley Brewing and Restaurant, not the. Great food and beer brews. Fantastic. Thank you for that, Holly Jordan. The Hutton Bar and Grill, Jersey City. Wow, a lot of local stuff coming in. I love that. Let's help support them. And again, I'm not dumping on corporate America. Big companies are good sometimes for some things. But it's the mom and pop shops, to me, that we should cherish because that's the backbone of America, is it not? We got a lot of comments there, but now I want to hear from you. What is it that's on your mind? Not one person so far has said anything about this quote from the wonderful Charles Bukowski. There's another partial quote from Bukowski. I'm not looking it up. I'm looking up the other one. He said, she's mad, but she's magic. There's no lie in her fire. And at the time, I was dating a girl who that fit perfectly. And I knew Charles Bukowski understood me, and I would try to understand him. As you know, there was a movie called Barflies with Faye Dunaway and Mickey Rourke, and it was about Bukowski. As many artists are, he was a tragic case, a tortured man. Certainly you could call him an alcoholic and drug user, I suppose. All of those things, but an artist, to me, a writer, a poet first and foremost, for the impact he had on my life, as well as many others, including a friend of mine, Jonathan Sadowski, who gave me a book, Char by Bukowski. The problem with the world is that the intelligent people are full of doubts while the stupid ones are full of confidence. I'm going to reach out into the void here and say that sums up this week really nicely. What do you think of that? Tighthead Brewery in Mundelein, Illinois. Did I say that right, Penny? Mundelein? I love that we're supporting locals. Who are you supporting locally? I gave a shout out to the Breadfruit and Rum Bar, one of my favorite restaurants in Phoenix, unfortunately closed because of the coronavirus. But BigMarble.com is a great place for ginger beer. I love that. And I'm drinking an agave, which is interesting to me. Why would a place be so possessive of a certain kind of, I know Champagne is like that. They started suing you. If you called sparkling wine champagne. So now you'll see it says sparkling wine a lot of the time. There's a lot of, I won't go into all of them, but there's a few regions who are very tight about that. But one thing always fascinated me about that. How can they get you? I don't understand. What are the international laws? Let's say 3 wells, which they would not do because they play by the rules. They named this thing, this American agave spirit drink. What if they called it tequila? Who knows about international law that can educate me? What would tequila do, the region? Who owns that branding? Is it Mexico itself? Then do they send you a letter? Probably cease and desist. Matthew says, New Realm Brewing, Virginia Beach, Virginia. Thank you, Matthew. What do they do? What is Champagne or Burgundy, these other places? What do they do? Did they take it to The Hague, the international court? How do they sue you? I don't understand. Or is it just kind of a nice thing and say, hey, look, we got this name. We spent a lot of money to keep this. Please stop doing it. I wonder if people defy that, because I'm sure there's a lot of rule breakers out there, law breakers even, since it's a law. I wonder what happens. Anyone have any experience with that? You know, when I was in Portugal, I loved being in Portugal. We were sailing down the river and we were drinking port. And there's a thing there. An organization, confraria, I think they call them. They're the same thing like the people who guard tequila or Burgundy or Champagne. They are this organization, this wonderful organization that makes sure if you call something port, it's only from that region. David Winston, we support the Star Basque Restaurant and Hotel in Elko, Nevada, in business since the 1800s or early 1900s, owned by my friend, Scotty Agora now. Oh, that's great, David. I'm glad you're supporting your friend. That's wonderful. Elko, Nevada, another place I've only been through, never spent the night. I don't count it unless I spent the night somewhere. And I don't mean just at the airport on a layover. You know, one of the things about Booze Traveler, we were in each place about 2 weeks or just under, depending, sometimes over. And that's what I loved about it. I really got to feel the culture and meet the people. I knew that I wasn't just going to turn around in 2 or 3 days. I could really soak it up. And I hope you enjoyed those episodes because I had a great time doing them. I'm so glad I caught you live, my fellow Southie kid, says Sharon Bean. Oh, thank you, Sharon. Yes, I'm from a place called South Boston, Massachusetts, made famous by a lot of movies, I'm sure. Maybe too many is what I'm saying by few people who get sick of it. I have a friend from grew up in the North End, Italian guy, and he hated that Southie got so much press. He was promoting his movie. He wanted to write a movie about the North End. And he said, there's all these movies about Southie, nothing about the North End. Although that's not true. I'm sure some movies featured the North End. But yes, Southie somehow caught on fire, really. Donnie Wahlberg had a lot to do with that with his movie, Southie. Corbett House Brewing Port in British Columbia. Coke with it? How do you say that? Coke with lamb? Doug Corbett. Thank you, Doug. Thank you. I appreciate that. So in Portugal, they were, and they dress up too. They have this little silver, looks like an upside down sombrero, and they pour the port in there, and they sip it, make sure it's right, and it make sure it's by the rules, like the German purity laws. They're really specific about that because there's a lot of cheap liquor out there, and a lot of liquor calling itself something that it isn't. So thank you for the places like the Confraria, these groups, or tequila or champagne, because we want to know what we're drinking, right? Aaron M., my wife and I just moved to Denver, Colorado. Oh, I love Colorado. I've been there so many times. And I'm using this time to draft up a to-do list for after the pandemic. Have any local favorites? Oh, I do. I do, actually. There's a couple of places in Denver or surrounding areas that I really love. There's this, what's it called? Graham, I forget the name of it now. It's it looks like it's a little corner bookstore but it's a hidden bar. And that's great, right? I love that kind of thing. And then there's a place that the name is escaping me for right now. It was a mortuary at one time. Somebody from Denver, let me know, would you? And there's a great big neon sign on the roof, and they put an RV up there. But the sign was from when it was a mortuary. The RV is from now, and they make great cocktails, great drinks. I've been to a few places in Colorado that I love, mostly outside of Denver. So I like to get outside and see the suburbs and see the places less visited, to turn a phrase, I suppose. So Denver's a great city, though. I love it. And I found out a stat that kind of blew my mind. Colorado gets more sunshine than Florida, the Sunshine State. And it could be freezing cold and snowy, and then boom. Aspen. Oh, you get to Aspen. Go to Woody's, favorite haunt of Hunter S. Thompson's, or Jimmy's. That's a great place for a nice steak. Kurt Russell grows beef cattle and raises them and sells it to Jimmy's. Good stuff. Oh, I love that place too. But Woody's was a lot of fun. Emily, hi Emily. What's your favorite comfort drink when you've had a bad day? What's the go-to drink? Oh, that's a good question. I thank you for that you even care that I'm comforted by something. That's wonderful. You know, I say this all the time, and it's true, and it will stay true. It's not what I drink. It's who I drink it with and what I'm doing. So there's not a drink necessarily that gives me comfort or peace of mind. You know, I might be thinking about something in particular. Like I was telling you, my friend Pablo, when we went to Belize, we had a seaweed smoothie. I can't find that necessarily, but if I'm thinking of that, I'll have some kind of island drink if I'm missing Belize or I haven't seen my buddy in a while. There's not one spirit, let's say, that calms me or makes me feel. It's so experiential, is what I'm saying. When you have a drink, and thankfully, because I've seen the world, or most of it, or a good part of it anyway, it reminds me of the places I've been, and that's what comforts me. It's not necessarily the liquid itself, although that does a good job most of the time. It's the place it reminds me of, and more importantly, the people that I met there and got to spend some time with. But that's a great question. You know, I have drinks that I like. I like rum because it reminds me of the islands. I like a nice peaty scotch sometimes. I'm getting into mezcals, a nice cold craft beer that's made well, a glass of wine with an Italian dinner, some sake sometimes because of the great time I had with the sumo wrestlers in Japan when I was filming an episode there. I didn't think they spoke English. And they were making fun of me, and they had a couple of words in English. And I said, look at you. You look like a bunch of bull elephants, thinking that they couldn't understand me. And I knew that my interpreter, who was our fixer that we hired to work with us on the show, I know she wasn't going to translate that. And then all of a sudden, the guy right to my left turns and looks at me. And he's this professional sumo wrestler, and a good one, by the way. And he looks at me and says, who you call an elephant? And there's this great picture I promised to show you sometime. I didn't have it ready because I didn't know I was going to talk about it. That's what it's called. Oh, Linger. Thank you. I knew that was the one. Linger. Linger. It was the mortuary, and now it's Linger, I think, or vice versa. Anyway, we were cracking up, me and this guy who understood that I was calling him a bunch of. They were all so big and strong, and it was a compliment that they were bull elephants, you know. But they were nice about it. We had a good time. One guy to my right, when I eventually show you this picture, drank 20 bottles of sake. I couldn't believe it. Emily, amen. I agree 100%. The places and people. Cheers to you and your health. Oh, thank you, Emily. I'll cheers to you as well. 3-in-1 Bar and Restaurant, Colonia, New Jersey, says David. Good stuff. That's a great shout out. And by the way, you can use the hashtags if you want, so people can look them up online or their online presence their handles. You can use the @ even if you want. You know, I get such a kick out of doing this with you because I'd love to meet you all and have a drink with you. It's just not possible. So we do it this way. Thank you for joining me. Amy Hull, Aaron M., check out the bars around the Rockies ballpark. Lots of fun spots there. Yes, we went to one, a sports bar type of place, and we had a bite to eat and a couple of drinks and played some cornhole right in the shadow of Coors Stadium before a game. It was great. I love the excitement of pro sports. I miss it so much. Not just the game, the interaction between these athletes, but beforehand, out in the parking lot, talking to fans and fans from the other team. And I don't mean giving them a hard time, just talking to them, ribbing them, having a good time, having the wonderful food in the parking lot or at the restaurants around the ballpark or the stadium. Oh, I miss it so much. Gene Urban DeSantis ate inside at our friend's Italian restaurant, Johnna's, in Johnston, Rhode Island last night. So great to eat out again. I hope you're masking up. Hope you're being careful. But it is good to eat out. I miss it as well. Judy Macbeth, Cozumel for sure. I go to video and I don't know what that said, but that and don't know where to vote. Well, you can vote anywhere. Just send me a message or online or where the videos are. I count them all. There's not a place you can't vote. Put it that way. And by the way, I noticed that last name, Macbeth, Chris and Amy. She's on your team for sure. So here's where you send your videos, folks. Email your videos to southiejackaz@gmail.com. Tell me where you'd go. Make them short and fun. Under a minute is what I mean by short. But make them fun and exciting with lots of energy. We'll have this time. Ken and I will pick out the top 4, which is hard to do. And I apologize if you didn't make the cut because there's so many good ones. But then you will vote on the winner, or I guess in this case, the winners. It's so hard. I don't like choosing losers, you know? So the first week it was 2. The second week we had a clear winner. And this week it was so close, we let both of them win. By the way, see this right here. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel because there's a lot of content there, including this. I don't know if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, but please, if you would, subscribe to my YouTube channel because a lot of stuff is going to go there that won't be anywhere else coming up soon. That's the icon. Thank you for putting that up and reminding me, Ken. And turn on your notifications, and that way you'll know everything that's coming up. We have a show called Belly Up that Ken is editing right now. We have a couple of actresses that you might know from Mad Men and Mad TV. Krista Flanagan, she's one of the contestants. That's our next episode. And remember Sheena? Xena. We have Adrian from that episode. Why can't I think of her last name right now? Probably because I've been drinking. I'm so sorry, Adrian. I gotta look you up real quick because you were great. You're so nice to play. Oh my goodness. What is it? You're gonna kill me. And I know her last name too. I just want to make sure I say it right. Oh my goodness. She's gonna be so mad. Where is it? I can't find it. Oh, she's gonna be so mad. And she played and she was so nice. Anyway, she's a wonderful actress. Been on a bunch of stuff. Anyway, that's the next episode of Belly Up. We got that. We have this, Jack's Place. We have The High Road on Fridays, 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. Somebody help me out with Adrian's last name. I'm so upset at myself. Oh, my goodness. And we're friends, too. She's not going to like this at all. Let me look this up. See, that's what you get when it's live. Adrian Wilkinson. I knew it. I'm sorry, Adrian. Please forgive me. And that's a fun game. Belly Up. It's drinking and trivia. And I should maybe do less drinking when I do these shows. But it's fun. And you joined me with a couple of drinks and some stories and some questions and some comments. And I appreciate it so much. Carrie Ann says, truly enjoy this time you set aside to chat with us, Jack. Thank you. I enjoy it too. I always enjoy hearing your stories. You're a master storyteller. Cheers. Oh, that's not true. I don't see. That's the thing. You know, there are some great storytellers out there. Some great podcast people. You know, I just did, oh man. You know, I've been a guest on a few podcasts and, you know, Bert Kreischer, he's just such a great storyteller. I went to see him live with my aforementioned friend, lifelong friend, Paul. And he's just a great storyteller. I mean, he has jokes and lines and things like that. But there are people who are wonderful storytellers. I don't fashion myself that. I just love sharing my experiences with you. I don't know how to tell a story. I just speak from the heart. I was lucky to do what I did and seeing the world. And I met some wonderful people and had some experiences now that will be memories for the rest of my life. I love that you want to share that with me and that you think they are great stories. And whatever they are, I really appreciate you joining me and having a drink with me. So we'll see you next week, okay? Right here on, Jack's Place, virtual, whatever it is. Send in your videos. We'll go somewhere else next week, I promise. Maybe even 2 places. How about that? With the last bit of my drink, I'll say cheers and I'll see you next time. Bye.